All right, today we're diving deep into one of the world's most critical bottlenecks, the Panama Canal.
It's this 51-mile hydraulic bridge, and it handles something like 6% of all global maritime commerce.
And it's an absolutely vital artery for the U.S. economy. We're talking 40% of all container traffic.
Yeah, and what our sources really highlight is that this century-old marvel just faced, well, its biggest stress test in recent memory with the 2023-2024 drought.
So our mission here is pretty clear. We need to analyze how the canal navigated that crisis and what its plans are to survive in the future with, frankly, less water.
Exactly. You have this reliance on Gatun Lake for two massive things: floating giant ships and providing Panama's drinking water. So those years, 2023 and 2024, they forced a complete paradigm shift.
Okay, let's unpack that with a little history first.
Yeah.
Before the Americans succeeded, the French effort was, well, a complete catastrophe.
Oh, catastrophically is definitely the word. I mean, forget the geology for a second. The environment was the real killer.
We're talking about 22,000 deaths.
Mostly from yellow fever and malaria. They spent almost $300 million before the whole thing just collapsed.
It's just a staggering human cost. So the American success wasn't just about money, it was about sanitation first.
Right, eradicating the mosquitoes, and then the big engineering pivot, abandoning that sea level idea and building a lock-based system using Gatun Lake.
That man-made lake, that's the linchpin.
It's the absolute linchpin. It holds all the water needed to lift ships 85 feet up and over the isthmus.
And this is where it gets really interesting, comparing the two systems they have running today. You've got the original, the 1914 Panamax locks.
Right, for ships around 5,000 TEU. Those are the ones with the little electric mules pulling them through.
And then you have the 2016 expansion, a whole new ball game.
The Neo-Panamax locks, yeah. Huge 180-foot wide chambers for ships up to 14,000 TEU. But the critical innovation here, the real genius, is the water-saving basins.
So how big of a deal are these basins, really?
Oh, they're a total game changer. They reuse 60% of the water from every single transit. 60%. So that means...
It means, and this sounds crazy, that a massive Neo-Panamax ship actually uses 7% less water than one of the older, smaller Panamax ships.
Okay, that sounds like a perfect solution. So what's the catch? Our sources mention a huge risk of salinity intrusion.
Right, because recycling that much water means the intake and discharge points are very close to the canal itself. That constant movement, it increases the risk of salt water seeping up from below and contaminating Gatun Lake.
And Gatun Lake is the country's main drinking water source.
It's the drinking source for over half the country, so the stakes are incredibly high.
Okay, so let's jump to the recent crisis, the 2023 El Nino.
It brought the driest October in the watershed's entire recorded history. I mean, rainfall was 43% below average.
Yeah.
The Canal Authority had to act and act fast.
So they put in draft reductions, forcing ships to light load cargo.
And the big one, they slashed daily transit slots from a normal of about 36 all the way down to 24. A huge cut in traffic. Wait, hold on. They cut traffic by a third. How on earth did they end up reporting an outstanding net profit of over $4 billion?
This is the really fascinating part. It's the scarcity model. With slots so limited, they used an auction system.
So companies were bidding against each other.
Desperately. Shipping lines were paying millions, literally millions in extra fees, just to secure a slot and avoid waiting for weeks.
So the canal's climate vulnerability actually became a short-term profit machine.
Precisely. It's a powerful financial tool, but you can't run a global supply chain on it. It doesn't solve the basic water problem.
Which brings us to the future. What's the long-term solution here?
Well, the Anchor project is the $1.6 billion Rio Indio Reservoir, set to be done around 2030. That's designed to guarantee the water supply for the next 50 years.
And in the meantime,
They're rolling out a new booking system, Lot TSA 2.0.
what does that actually do for a shipper?
In a word, certainty. It gives sensitive cargo, like LNG carriers that can't just wait around, a way to schedule with confidence.
And of course, there's always the geopolitical angle hovering over this. The U.S. is the #1 user.
But China is number 2, and you have Chinese state-linked firms operating major ports at both the Atlantic and Pacific entrances.
So it all comes back to water. The canal's success, its neutrality, it all hinges on securing that freshwater supply against climate change.
Exactly. And that leaves you with a really important question. Given how much global trade, especially U.S. consumer goods, relies on this canal, and with the high visibility of Chinese firms and the logistics right there, how does this new reality of a water-scarce world change the way we should all think about the canal's neutrality treaty? Something for you to mull over.